gonna call this meeting to order, determine there's a quorum present. Commissioner Wardlaw, Commissioner Vasquez, Commissioner Nettleton, Commissioner Flores, and myself, we have a quorum. Y'all will please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Commissioner Nettleton.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. The approving of the minutes on through December 20th. Let me get to it. On item 41, it was Commissioner Nettleton that made the motion and Commissioner Wardlaw that made the second. And that's on item 41.
I'll make a motion to.
And then I've got a couple.
Oh, you got a couple more.
Yes, sir. You don't mind. And then on January 3rd, thank you, sir. Item 7, approving the bills of Commissioner Flores and Commissioner Vasquez. Commissioner Flores made the motion. Commissioner Vasquez seconded it, or made a second. On January 17th. Item 8, Commissioner Nettleton made a motion, Commissioner Wardlaw had the second. And then item 24, that was good. Item 28, on the dollar amount, we talked about 43, we talked about 43.8, but it was actually on the discussion possible action on setting a salary for a mechanic in the sheriff's office, and instead of the 43,000, we ended up at 43,800, and that was on the video. Those are the only changes on the minutes.
What item was that?
That was on. Let me look at this. I'm sorry. Item 28. Let me make sure. Hold on.
Oh yes, it's 28.
Yes, sir. Okay. And we talked about 43, 43.5, 43.8, but the motion was actually 43,800. That's done, Commissioner.
Motion to approve with changes.
Second. Motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second, Commissioner Flores. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 5, citizens' comments. Ms. Fuentes.
Good morning, Judge Owens and County Commissioners. My name is Sandra Fuentes. I'm a co-chair of the Border Organization. Last County Commissioners meeting, the court voted to withdraw from proceeding forward with the shooting range for the county.
Go ahead.
I don't know whether it'd be fair to say, possibly it's fair to say that if that doesn't change and remains like we're not doing that anymore, that's going to possibly cost the county, the taxpayers, maybe $300,000. As you well know, we have forwarded some open records requests. The answers are trickling in. It does not look good as to how much money this county commissioner's court has misspent and misused. I don't know, maybe close to $60,000 for the for plans on this sports complex that was supposed to go at the fairgrounds. So right there, just those two items were up to $360,000. Now, what I really do not understand is how this court is not willing to put up $600,000 to improve a road where you can, therefore, if it's improved, therefore you can apply for grants for the state of Texas to bring in water to an area. But yet, on one hand, you're misspending, misusing so much money. It's close to $2 million right now. The answers are still coming in. But yet, you cannot see, this court cannot see its way to improve a road for $600,000 to possibly bring water to some people. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Fuentes. Sergio Rodriguez, Mr. Rodriguez.
Good morning, Judge Owens, fellow commissioners. My name is Hector Rodriguez. I am a leader with the border organization and president of Escondido Estates Resident Association. First and foremost, I just wanted to, just continue to thank you guys for, for moving along this water project. Of course, we're not where we need to be yet, as in my opinion, but, it is a big improvement. Basically, the only thing I wanted to say today, and I'm going to keep it short and simple. I don't want to step on anyone's toes or anything, but with the amount of money going into this project, I honestly feel that there has to be a better way of managing, who got a meter, how people get a meter. In my instance, for example, my property is the first property on Quail Trail. I was skipped. My next two, I believe the next two neighbors right next to me, they got their water meter, they got a backflow. Now I'm being told, I want one. I have to spend money on it, which at the end of the day, I probably am. That's not the point. I mean, there has to, with the amount of money that's being fed into this project, I just feel that there's a better way of managing, not basically who wants a meter, but who needs a meter, who's first in line, not just pretty much saying, hey, you know what, you want one? Yeah, go ahead. No, that's not how this works. So like I said, once again, thank you guys for anything. And I want to say thank you to our Commissioner Worrell. He's been very helpful as well, answering phone calls and everything. Commissioner, when you have a chance, I do have a resident there in Escondido Estates that's willing to assist us. He does have a company that, they also dig up and everything, so he's willing to help us out, So I just the time of your convenience, we would like a meeting with you so I can introduce you to him. And like I said, free of cost labor. It's just pretty much getting his ideas over to you. Like I said, so at a time of your convenience, if you can just phone me when you have a chance, so we can get together, so you can meet him.
That's David.
And hopefully we can get things started. This is how interested we are. I mean, at the end of the day, I believe residents, along with our commissioners, are here to help as well. So just when you have a chance, if you can just reach out to us, we can get it together, and I'll introduce you to him, sir. All right, thank you guys. Appreciate it. Have a good morning.
Ms. Herda? Did I say that right?
Good morning.
Morning.
I am here just to go on record in opposition of agenda item 34 in regard to the relief route for the current International Bridge. My neighbors couldn't be here today, but I speak for our neighbors, ourselves. We are in opposition to that agenda item. We thank you guys for having a public hearing this evening, and we look forward to letting you all know how we really feel about it.
Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Kerr?
Good morning, Kerr Wardlaw, and I wanted to share some information with you all about the wind farms, the wind turbines. I'm not going to talk to you about the environmental repercussions because that's very accessible to everyone. I'm not going to talk to you about the electric loop that has to occur because you can find that out on your own. But what you don't have access to is the money. So I talked to the specialist at the trial between the Alberta County Appraisal District and the wind turbine wind farm. And I asked him, what does one wind turbine make or do to a citizen? And he said in a year, a wind turbine will make about $5,000 to $6,000. I said, just $5,000 to $6,000? He said, yes. And I said, what about taking it down? And do they have to take it down? And he said that the wind turbine companies will pull the wool over people's eyes and not have it in the contract to take down the turbines when the turbines shut down. And then you have to take it down. It's just your hunk of junk sitting there broke. And so then I also learned during the trial about the tax credits. That's where the real money is made. The wind turbines don't make money. The tax credits, which are purchased by New York Life and these big companies up north, buy the tax credits and pay for this wind farm to be put in. Then the company owns the wind farm, and you're getting your $5,000 or $6,000 a year. Then when the tax credits run out, the company is no longer making any money, so they go bankrupt. They walk off, and you get your wind turbine just there, stationary. We've only got one in the county right now, thank God. I have to drive by it every week. But in 2017, September of 2017, those wind turbines are going to turn off, and they're going to be parked. And those landowners are going to be stuck with it forever. Something to think about. If anybody has any questions about the trial, I'm happy to share it. Oh, the taking down, I asked, what does it take to take them down? He said, starting cost, when you unload the crane to get started, $250,000. So do the math of $5,000 times 10 years, and you're going to have $50,000 that will be spent, and then you've got to get a $250,000 crane unloaded on your land. Thank you.
Are we going to discuss that item?
You want it, which one? 34?
Well, there's some other things that are involved in that. I don't necessarily agree with everything he just said, but we'll discuss it when we get there.
Okay. Well, let's do this. We had citizens' comments, one citizen's comment on item 34. If y'all don't mind, we'll go to item 34. Discussion possible action on relief route for existing international bridge. We met with several citizens Sunday, and I say we, Commissioner Wardlaw and myself met with several citizens on Sunday at a house meeting. And I spoke to citizens, a couple people on Lupita subdivision. I think the consensus that we've had is that they're against anything that would have to do with going over Qualia, under Qualia, through Qualia. I think that's the main concern. We do have a hearing this afternoon at 6:10 or 6:15. I think, the court, if y'all don't mind, would consider, we'll table this item for right now, come back after. I'm going to ask for the proper procedure in order to recess this meeting and then come back at 6 o'clock. Could we do that now, or you want to wait at the end of the meeting?
Well, you can certainly it should be made at the end of the meeting, but you can certainly, obviously, you kind of notified the public already, which is fine.
If we recess now, would we not recess the entire meeting?
Well, you recess at the end of the meeting to come back to the item.
Okay. And then that's what I'm asking. I just want to make sure that individuals that are here that or might be watching, I will ask that at the end of this meeting, instead of adjourning, that we recess and come back at 6 o'clock and go through the hearing process, and then if necessary, take action at that time. But I'll ask for that at the end of the meeting.
And, Judge, I'd like to make a comment on that.
Yes, sir.
At some point down the road, we're gonna need a loop from the port of entry from the existing bridge. If it's not on the south side, maybe on the west side. We need to build it, or go through the process of looking into building one to tie in a Highway 90 or Loop 79, like he says, I don't know, somewhere out there. But, before all this area gets populated, then we're gonna have a big issue, and we're gonna need a way out, another way out for the existing bridge for the big trucks.
And I completely agree with you. I think, though, that at the meeting that, and again, nobody from the city's here, so I'm not going to throw rocks at them, but maybe little ones. This route that we looked at wasn't something that we just yanked out of our ears and said, okay, we're going to go do it. We were asked to look at a route. That's our thing. We're going through this process. I will send a letter to, depending on what happens this afternoon, I'll send a letter to the city asking them if they would want us to look at a relief route and have something in writing other than just discussions to where we're just throwing rocks at each other, that it's you, it's me, it's whoever. But we all agree, I think, that there's going to have to be something done. There's going to have to be something done. But I would like for the city to send us a formal request if they're asking us to look at a route, is because it is outside the city limits. I know that's sort of being childish, but I'm getting tired of being thrown under the bus that it was our route. So again, that's the only rock I'm going to throw. I do agree with the city. There was conversations on Sunday that why are we even looking at something? I will tell you that I personally, not speaking for the court, agree with what the city's doing at the bridge, trying to develop and bring in more truck traffic. If we ever go to look at a second bridge, which at some point, I end up looking at that one too, you need to have truck traffic in order to be able to validate or to defend why are we looking at it. So we can have that conversation. I've asked Carlos to print a route, not to be considered, but something, not to take action on, but something for y'all to look at. But I would really appreciate the city, and I'll send a letter to them, but if we can get on the same page as to, they need to sort of make some comments that they want it in front of everybody and send us an email, that way we're not sitting there sort of holding the bag by ourselves. And it looks like the county's the one that did it.
Do you want action from this court to authorize you to send a letter so they know it's coming from the court, not just you?
If you want.
I will make a motion to authorize the judge to send a letter to the city saying that if they want us to look at routes for tying the loop to the existing international bridge, to send it to us in writing.
Just a point of order. I know, Judge, you announced that you were going to table this item. And I know there wasn't a motion.
No, I can wait.
But just to clarify the record, there's not a motion to table.
Not right now. Nobody made a motion. There is a motion on the table by Commissioner Nettleton. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Second, Commissioner Flores. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. And we can take action on the rest of it at the end of the meeting? Or you want?
You probably want to take, well, yeah, because you're going out of order anyway, so
Yes.
yes, you're fine.
Okay. Thank you. Approving monthly reports. Did y'all want to skip to something?
No, that's fine.
Approving monthly reports from elected officials.
Move. Okay.
Have a motion, Commissioner Flores, second Commissioner Nettleton. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 7, approving bills for payment.
Move.
Have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second. Commissioner Vasquez. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 8, discussion possible action to approve the auditor's report.
Motion to approve.
Have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Vasquez. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. You've done a good job, man. Item 9, discussion possible action on budget adjustments. A, Constable 2, Precinct 2, transfer $330.07 from office supplies to travel and training.
Motion.
Have a motion, Commissioner Wardlaw. Second, Commissioner Flores. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item B, Sheriff's Office, transfer $15,000 from reserve account into Sheriff's operating supplies to purchase 5 Glock 17s in the amount of $2,380. 5 Benelli M2 shotguns in the amount of $6,895, and 5 FN American AR-15s in the amount of $5,595, for a total of $14,870.
Move. Second.
Have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Flores. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 10, discussion possible action to sign renewal of Affordable Cares Act reporting and training tracking services.
Move.
Have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second.
Second, Judge.
Commissioner Vasquez. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. 11, discussion possible action on a contract with Debit Book to facilitate government accounting standards, board statement number 87.
Correct. This was budgeted earlier. This is our lease accounting that's been coming down the tracks, and as soon as it's going to be our statement 96, it's going to absorb that as well. And originally, it did start out as a debt book to manage the debt book, the transparency, and to quote your words, Judge, during the budget process, so you can play with numbers. So it'll be able to stack the calls on the debts to facilitate all that.
Motion to approve.
Sorry?
Motion to approve.
Have a
Okay.
motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Wardlaw. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 12, no action needed. Item 13, discussion possible action, select activity project for $500,000 CDBG request of 2023-2024 Community Development Fund grant. Carl, these are projects. Do you need the projects now, or can you get with the commissioners? What is it that you need from us? You have this one, and then you have another one after this.
Good morning, gentlemen. I guess my comment on that is the clock is ticking. There's a lot of work that needs to be done on this, application. The deadline is April 3rd. And so, reason I put it on the agenda to see if we can move forward with, a priority to see if it would meet the national program objective.
And I know you sent us an email and I forwarded it out as to projects that we had done in the past.
I've made it.
500 in the meeting. You'd already
Yeah, I
sent
made a
it to-
list of those. You should have those in your packet there.
Yeah.
So we
So,
need the projects now, or what do we need to do?
Sir?
We need the projects now,
Well,
or how do you want to do it?
can you visit with the commissioners on a one-on-one basis, and then y'all can put a list together and then bring it back to the court to figure out the priority of which one they want?
okay.
But I think if you can spend some time with them and go out with them on some of the projects that they have and look at it. Can that work?
Sure.
And then before you bring it back, if we can get a list together, that way, we already have a list, that we can actually take action on. Can that work?
Thank you.
Thank you, Carl. Don't leave, there's another one. Oh, you got a bunch of them. Item 14, discussion possible action, selective activities projects for $1 million request of the 2023 Colonia Fund Construction Grant. And I guess this is the same thing, Carl. I know that there was a thing in our packet, and then you emailed us a list of what we had done in the past, with these funds were applied for. So again, if you'll get with the commissioners so they can identify projects.
Okay, timeline's the same. April 3rd is the deadline. These funds can only be used for water or sewer in designated colonias in Valverde County.
So it's not for any particular project, I mean, it's just for water, or utilities, water or sewer.
Yes. You gotta be in recognized colonial areas.
It's not for parks or anything like that.
No.
Need a motion, Judge?
No, sir, Mr. Wardlaw, I think, Commissioner, if y'all would just visit with him and see which projects that y'all have, and then we can come up, bring it back to the court. That way the court can decide which one y'all want to go do. Y'all don't want it. No. Item 15, thank you, sir. Discussion possible action approving CDBG signatory resolution for 2023 appointing authorized official financial representatives for Valverde County CDBG program. A motion, Commissioner Nettleton. Second,
I'll second that.
Commissioner Flores, did you have a discussion? Or you okay?
Well, I'm just, what is this all about?
Carl.
Number 15.
Number 15, Commissioner Flores wants to know what is this all about?
Okay, so this is if and when the county submits
There's
an
an
application
authorized
for the
person.
500 grand or the $1 million. This is the signatory resolution authorizing, the county judge is authorized official, and Matt, the county auditor, we're not mentioning them by names, but by position. The county judge is authorized official, the county auditor is financial representative for the county, for these grants.
And these are the same ones, Commissioner, that we always do before the grants.
Yeah.
And it's a dual signature, they both, in order to be turned in, both of us have to sign.
Nothing's changed, yeah. It's just a reaffirming that for, the 2023 round.
Any other discussion, sir?
No, it's here. Thank you.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 16, discussion possible action, scheduling inspection and walkthrough with Patmo Services and Sanford Waterworks for the Alcoa Field, project at 2 p.m. January 31st, 2023.
It's a little cold to be doing that today.
Gotta move on.
Have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Flores. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 17, discussion possible action approving affidavit of posting final public hearing notice for CDBG 7214079 Alcoa Field Project public hearing scheduled today, January 31st at 5:10 Old County Courthouse.
Why are we posting as it's today? Do we not already post?
We've already posted it. We put it on the walls. We put it on the website. We posted it everywhere.
Yeah, it's been posted about 15 days ago.
Motion to, well, we're not approving it, what are we doing there?
You're approving the affidavit.
Okay. Motion to approve the affidavit.
Have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Wardlaw. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 18, discussion possible action approving invoice number 2, Esser and Company Consulting LLC, Contract Administrative Services, CDBG 7220479 Alcoa Field Project.
Again.
Have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Flores. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 19, discussion of possible action approving invoice 348866 Sanford Waterworks for CDBG 7220479 irrigation backflow prevention.
Where are we getting this money from? From that?
It's from the grant still.
Okay.
And then there was also some funds set aside, $500,000 set aside for Alcoa Field out of Park and Rec. So when we run out of money out of the grant, then it comes out of that distribution. Okay. Have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton. Who seconded that?
I don't second yet.
Sure.
I'll second.
Commissioner Wardlaw. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Discussion possible action regarding Texas Parks and Wildlife funding recommendation for 2023 non-urban outdoor recreational local park program. I'm going to ask a silly question. This one here, will this go back to the item also that Commissioner Flores has to reapply? It's the same thing, right? Pretty much?
Yes, sir.
So there's an item. Item 43, discussion possible action to approve precinct 4 to reapply for the Texas Parks and Wildlife for the 2023 non-urban outdoor recreation local grant program. Deadline is to apply is August 1st, 2023, so we can take care of item 40.
I'll make a motion that they
On item
approve
20.
to reapply for this grant for the park. So we denied the first. Yes, it was denied.
Yeah, well, we placed 17th out of 32 applications submitted. Valverde County placed 17th, Parks and Wildlife funded 10.
Okay, I have a motion, Commissioner Flores. Do I have a second? Second. Can you talk to Commissioner Vasquez? I spoke to Commissioner Flores last week also. Can we look at the points that everybody else received to figure out where we might have been lacking on?
I made that comment to Commissioner Flores, that we're going to try to coordinate with the agency up there to kind of see where the application was weak. So maybe we can strengthen it in those areas where we didn't receive the.
And I know that some of
points.
the stuff that I looked at, when after Commissioner Flores called and just going through some of the other grants, you know, I don't know whether it's even possible, but, to set aside maybe some money for an all-access playground. Maybe we get some points for that. You know, I mean, you know, I don't know. Some of the stuff that we put in, not everybody can use.
Yeah. They have a criteria that you have to pretty much follow, and they have certain points for certain criteria. So we're going to try to coordinate with the agency up there to see what criteria we were weak in.
Okay.
Yeah, and try to strengthen the application.
Don't bring us that information.
Yep.
Maybe.
On item 17, I have a motion, Commissioner Flores, to reapply, and y'all will look at how to figure that out as far as the grant or 43.
Yeah, 43.
Item 20. We're doing 20.
We're
We're doing item 20. I have a motion by Commissioner Flores and a second by Commissioner Vasquez for, precinct 4 to move forward with reapplying for this grant. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 21, discussion possible action regarding project completion report and check, transaction register for CDBG 7218075 Rancho Del Rio, Escondido, San Felipe Panchos Waterline, and authorize county judge to sign. Carl. What is this?
Okay, this is the TDA contacted Esser and Company. We submitted all the closeout reports for 8075. They had asked for some vouchers that were submitted after the time that the project was previously monitored. So we had to submit to them vouchers 11, 12, 13, and 14. We got with the auditor's office, gathered that information. And so at the time we did the project completion report, which at the time the grant was ended, back in October of 2021, we still had funds reserved in the grant that we were requesting, and those are for those last vouchers. And so those vouchers have been paid. We're showing that all the funds have been used. And, we've shown the amount of match that the county contributed to the project, both in kind and also cash, at the time the grant was completed, which was October 20th, 2021. So it's actually just a revision of the project completion report. The check transaction register, we just brought that to the court's attention so you could kind of see how the funds were spent.
Motion to approve.
Second.
A motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Wardlaw, all those in favor? Thank you, Carl. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 22, discussion possible action regarding certificate of construction completion for force account CDBG 7218075, Rancho Del Rio, Escondido, San Pedro Precious Water Line, and authorize county judge to sign.
Move.
A motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second. Second. Commissioner Flores, all those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 23, discussion possible action regarding certificate of construction completion for Domingo Reyes purchase of sandy loan materials for CDBG 7218075, Rancho Del Rio, Escondido, San Felipe Pastures Water Line, authorized county judge to sign.
Motion.
Motion, Commissioner Wardlaw, second, Commissioner Vasquez. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 24, discussion possible action regarding certificate of construction completion for Rocky Hill Equipment Rental of Waxhaw for CDBG 7218075, Rancho Del Rio. It's going to be the water line, authorized county judge to sign.
Is this just to say that we paid them?
Any contract, either materials or rental equipment or material supplies that's over $2,000, the state agency is requesting the certificate of construction completion, just to document that that vendor's been paid in full, and so this is what we're doing today.
Can we take all these as one?
Yes, actually,
Or you have to do individual?
number
From 28 up,
number 22, well,
already done.
actually number 23, 24, 25, 26,
Through 28.
27, through 27, yeah.
28 is the
28 is the
change
change
order.
order, yeah.
I'll make them,
Basically, we're on 24, so 24.
I'll make a
25,
motion to
26,
approve items 24, 25, 26, and 27.
Second. I have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second, Commissioner Flores, to approve 24, 25, 26, and 27. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 28, discussion possible action regarding change order number 1 for Torrin Main LP. Final contract pipe, $309,226.47.
Okay, at the end of the day, everything's got a balance to the penny, and so Core and Main was paid $4,588.15 less than their original contract amount. And so we have the change order today to reconcile that and bring that down to the exact price.
Motion to approve.
Have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second. Commissioner Flores, all those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 29, discussion possible action approving KSA engineering invoice ARIV 1004679 for CDBG 7219085.
Motion to approve.
Motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second. Who seconded? Commissioner Wardlaw, all those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 30, discussion possible action regarding finalizing project scope of work, regarding security enhancement to the Edward, Byron Memorial Criminal Justice, oh, that's the grant. I'm thinking, well, we don't have a building that called that.
Okay, this is for the application. It's actually due tomorrow. Requesting the security enhancements that the county was considering applying for.
Where's he at? Is he here?
Anyhow, he provided us some quotes.
It was for we're applying for 100,000?
More or less, yeah.
So who's gonna benefit from this
I think
grant?
anything over that,
We put together a plan that we brought to y'all a while back, with everything. So they were trying to figure out, in order to cut it down, which building would you end up doing? And,
he had,
Graham had brought up
he was considering just access control only. I think that had to do with, the doors,
Parts.
locks and stuff.
Mhm.
So the Fitzpatrick building, about 57 grand. The county attorney's building, 55 grand. The county administration building was 40 grand. The courthouse by itself, the main courthouse, 121,000. The district courthouse, 190,000. So there's no way to incorporate all that. We need to prioritize, kind of what the county wants to.
What I told them was to look at and bring back a dollar amount, especially for the Fitzpatrick building. And I can,
Fitzpatrick
if y'all
building.
want, we can, table this if you want, and then I can explain to you in
Yeah, I'll make a
executive
motion
session.
that we table and bring it back at the following meeting.
We got the application due tomorrow.
For the building.
No, we'll talk about it
Okay.
after executive.
Oh, hold on. His motion was to bring it back at the next meeting.
Yeah, we don't have time, but if you'll
Oh, that's
table
right.
it,
Yeah, you're
if you'll
right.
table
Okay.
it
Yeah,
till
we'll
after
just bring it back after executive session.
Table it.
Motion to table.
All right.
Have motion, Commissioner Flores, second, Commissioner Nettleton, all those in favor? Aye. To be tabled and brought back after executive. Item 31, discussion possible action regarding presentation update of Texas Water Development Board economically distressed area. That's going to be the water infrastructure, Clay Livingston, PE, TRC Engineering.
Okay, he's having a hard time, getting that link. When I came up here a while ago, he still hadn't gotten it, so I'm gonna send it back.
Let me know if you can hear me.
Are you there?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm sorry.
So who is he? Is that Clay?
Good morning. My name is Clay Livingston with TRC. I'm an engineer on the water line project.
Okay, and you're having issues? or-
I'm sorry. You'll have to forgive my echo. So it's a little bit hard for me to understand, but let me just. So right now where we're at is we're doing an environmental review, which has we did prior to any portion of the engineering being completed. So we're prioritizing that, but we have. We're started on looking at the project, and in addition to that, there's a portion of the project which is, or a portion of the project area which is being completed by the Texas CDBG grant fund, and so I was going to follow up with the county engineer to get construction plans for that, and so I can with that or take that into consideration.
This, Carl, is this the $700,000 for the planning portion? And this is to look at all of Escondido or what?
I'm sorry.
This is to look at all of Escondido or what is this?
Yes, to look at all that area out there that is underserved.
And then once that study's done, we resubmit to the Water Development Board and they either give us grants or low interest loans to install everything?
It would, with an EDAP project, it'd be 100% grant to my knowledge, if the county wanted to move forward with the construction phase. Currently, what's the planning part is just to do the preliminary and final design of the project. Obviously, Texas Water Development Board has to approve that. Before that can happen, though, that all that proposed area out there where the water lines are proposed to go in, and most of them will be in county right of way, I think there's going to be little, if any, acquisition needed. But those areas, those proposed routes have to be cleared environmentally before Texas Water Development Board will allow the county to proceed even with the design of it.
I did one of these projects several years ago for Lakeview, and they came back with low interest loans and very few grants. So you need to look at the part where it probably may not be. I'm not saying it won't be. It may not be all grant funding. There may be some low interest loans because they're going to look at different pieces of it.
Right. We'll have to wait until they make that decision. But this is the first leg of it, the planning part. It's been continuing and ongoing. Last week,
When did we
I
get
did
the funding?
coordinate with Texas Water Development Board and the staff up there. There's a team, and they brought it to our attention that the environmental needed to be done prior to any of the design work, actually. So I think TRC is currently working on the environmental portion of that, getting it cleared environmentally.
And we have this funding already?
Yes,
It's
money's
sitting
in the bank. Money's in the bank over here in Del Rio,
And we
in the
got it-
escrow account.
We got it when did we get the funding?
It's been about 7 years ago. Yep. It's been in an escrow account. And so the way that'll work is once, when they are interim outlays submitted for planning completed, those outlays will be, approved through Commissioners Court. They'll be sent to Texas Water Development Board. They'll review them for approval, and they'll release those funds to the county from the escrow account to pay for any work that's been completed.
So, it says presentation update. So do you need action on this, or it was just an update?
It's just an update, Judge. Just wanted to inform the court on the progress that's what's being taking place out there.
Okay. Y'all have any other questions on item 31?
No, sir.
No? Okay, we're good. Move on to item 32, discussion possible action to approve Texans invoice in the amount of $2,087 for fiscal year 2022-2023. This was brought to the court to see if we would participate sometime last year, but we actually received an invoice this year. It's with the city of Del Rio. This is part of our match. I don't think that we actually set aside an account that it would come from the last go-round. So at this time, we need to approve it and set aside where the money's going to come from.
Motion to approve out of contingency.
Second. I have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Flores. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 33, discussion possible action to declare the month of February 2023 as Teen Dating Violence Awareness Month.
Motion to approve.
I have a motion. Do I have a second? And then David. I have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Vasquez. Mr. Martinez?
Just like to make a few comments regarding teen dating violence. Sadly, it's an issue that's prevalent not only in our community, but communities all across the state and all across the country. And I would encourage parents to communicate with their teens, encourage the teens to take advantage of the resources that are available to them through the school district, for example, BCFS, and our office handles protective orders, does protective orders in some of these cases. So please, it's critical that we kind of get a hold of and put a stop to this violence that's occurring with our children. So again, I encourage parents to talk to their children.
Is there any way we can notify through Facebook these teens what those resources are that are available to them if they're experiencing these things?
I know the school district does that, and I'll visit with the superintendent to see what we can do, maybe in coordination.
Maybe we can put it on our website, maybe we can put it on our Facebook pages of the resources and where to contact in the event this is happening.
I'll visit with Ram as well.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Thank you, Your Honor.
I have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second by Commissioner Vasquez on the proclamation. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 35, discussion possible action on projects that are needed within the county. Visited with a couple commissioners and, we're going to sort of get in a planning stage, as to projects that they might want. I know that, Precinct 4, has mentioned, Senegas Road. Is it Senegas or Leomed? Senegas. Okay. Senegas Road, and I think in Precinct 3, you've had other projects going on that you wanted to do. In Precinct 2, the same way. I think y'all have projects that we're going to need money for. Precinct 1 is the same way. If y'all would please.
Can we do like an evening meeting and take input from the community on projects they would like to see? That way, there's a little more community involvement in the things they would like to see us do.
y'all just need to give me a date. If y'all will pick some dates, and then we can set something up in the afternoon, anytime after 6. And the reason I put this on is, we don't have the funds to say, okay, we're gonna go do this with the money that we have anymore. So if we could come up with some projects, then we can bring, and we've had this conversation, Commissioner, we can bring in our financial advisor and our bond counsel to figure out how we would go out for funds once we get a dollar amount for all y'all's projects. But if we get a list, put a dollar amount to it, and then come up with how we're gonna fund these projects. My thing, been saying it for 4 years, 5 years. At some point, we will need a judicial center. I think it's here. So, but, I think we need to have this conversation, start having it, and that way, when we start trying to plan our budget, June, July, that we can put these numbers into that, and try to work some of these dollars into our budget.
And can we ask some of the other departments? I know the sheriff's gonna have a need for an expansion of the existing jail coming up, so maybe some of these other departments that have issues that they need to deal with too.
Okay, if y'all, will give me some dates, send me some dates this week. Look at y'all's calendar, send me some dates, and then, between everything that y'all are sending me, I will pick a date to have a meeting in the afternoon. That work?
That'll work.
Thank y'all. Item 36, discuss and possible action on approval of resolution and opposition to wind farm.
We approved this in 2018, this exact resolution was approved in 2018. The one thing I would like to address, Kerr made a comment earlier that landowners are stuck with these once the project is over. That is not the case. The state of Texas 4 years ago passed a law that requires these wind energy companies to put in their lease to put up bonds and letters of credit for the removal of these projects once they're completed with the state of Texas. And they have to be removed, and if they don't, the state of Texas comes in and removes them and pulls their bonds and letters of credit. That was passed by the legislators, I think 4 or 5 years ago, I don't remember. So to say that they're going to be left there is not the case. They are required to put up those, just same as we require subdivisions to put up bonds and letters of credits if they don't complete. Wind energy companies are now required by law in the state of Texas to put up bonds and letters of credits to remove these at the completion of these projects. I did not vote for this the last time. If this court takes a vote, I won't either. I believe this is a complete and utter invasion on private property rights. I think there needs to be a conversation about how we protect Laughlin and protect the private property rights of landowners. But to simply say, we're not going to allow this anywhere in Valverde County, I think is a stretch. But that's just my personal opinion.
Any other comments? Commissioner Wardlaw, Commissioner Vasquez, Commissioner Flores?
No.
Do I have a motion, or y'all want to table this and then bring it back?
I'll make a motion to table.
I have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Commissioner Wardlaw. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 37, discussion possible action to approve the purchase of a Duraco T6 6,000 gallon storage tank for precinct 3 from Cooper Equipment at a total price of $100,582.50, utilizing the precinct 3 2021 certificate of obligation budget.
The current tank that we have at the fairgrounds no longer works. We need one to be able to store oil. Cooper Equipment is through the buy board. I know there's been some people ask why it didn't go out for bids, but since it came through the buy board, it qualifies through the bidding process. This is coming out of my precinct, so I will make a motion to approve the purchase of this tank.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Commissioner Wardlaw. Melissa, he made a statement that it's going through the buy board. We never got a bid. This is just for transparency. That's absolutely correct. Okay. I have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Wardlaw. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Items 38, discussion possible action on rescinding court order 22565, amending the Kelly Ranch subdivision.
There was a court order for us to do an amendment. The amendment was never actually done, so we need to rescind that court order in order to clarify that subdivision. So I'll make a motion to rescind court order number 22-565 removing that amendment.
A motion, Commissioner Nettleton, seconded by. Second,
Second, Judge.
Commissioner Vasquez. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 39, discussion possible action on Texas Parks and Wildlife Target Range Grant Project. Commissioner Nettleton or Carl, somebody.
I put this together. There's three options on here that we have. One is to continue, with the project at the SE Ranch, including the skeet trap and everything. The other other option would be to move this to a different location, removing the skeet and trap and downsizing the building. The additional location would be at approximately the 4 or 5 acres that remain at my precinct yard. And option 3 would be to authorize the judge to send a letter to Texas Parks and Wildlife saying we no longer care to pursue this project. We had put together some options to move this to another one and downsize. I don't necessarily agree with the downsizing, but it would, the original building was 11,479 square feet. The new site would downsize to 9,800, removing all the offices and just leaving the bathroom. The estimated, and these are estimated, we're not gonna know. The SE Ranch one was $3,513,000. The second location would be approximately $2,300,000. We're not gonna know these exact numbers until we get bids. That would be removing all the offices and everything on the inside. The decision's up to the court on what direction they want to go.
Judge, I'll make the motion that we move forward with the shooting range. And concerning the target range, we pick option number 3.
Okay.
Option number 3 is to,
Okay, let's go back. The target range is only, right now, the only thing we're talking about is the building, Commissioner Flores, because the outside would not be built anyway.
Okay, so is that a shooting range is your indoor facility, your target range is your outdoor facility?
Right now, the only thing that we'd be talking about right now is the actual building itself and to hook up water, whatever to the building, but the ski, the trap, everything like that would not be built.
Why are we, labeling it here as a target range? Right?
Well, because it's inside, it's a target range inside.
because Texas Parks and Wildlife has it as a target range.
But it's only the building. The only thing, what was presented to the court on several occasions was the building plus the skeet and trap, everything outside. Right now, that's not even being considered. The only thing that would be considered today is actual, the building and everything that goes along with the building. Finishing the building, finishing the building, running water to the building.
Okay, so.
And that's how come the numbers came down from 3.5 to the 2.
That's an estimate. We're not
We
gonna
need to do
know.
the proper modifications to continue to move forward with
No,
the shooting range, the building itself,
And that's
no outdoor facility.
There's no outdoor facility on this plan at all. When I say no outdoor facility, there's no skeet or trap.
Yeah.
And there's not enough room really to do that.
Okay. I don't necessarily agree with downsizing the building. I do agree with removing all the inner offices, just leaving the bathroom in the safe area and leaving it at the 11,000, and at some point come back and look at doing.
How many
the interior
lanes?
part. We've got 16 lanes, I believe, in this facility.
Yeah.
16 lanes. We currently at our facility have
Six.
Commissioner, how much would be saved in that 2,000 feet downsize?
a few $100,000. It's probably gonna
That
cost you
much?
more to come back later and add on that 1,500 square feet, which basically you would be cutting from the bathrooms, where that door is between the bathroom and the vault, you'd be cutting the building there and scooting the bathroom over. I personally think that you build the 11,400 square foot, you don't put all the interior stuff other than the bathroom and the vault, but we're not gonna know the final cost until we go out for bids. That's just all there is to it. But I mean, there will be a shortfall. We can ask Texas Parks and Wildlife for additional funding. Doesn't mean we're going to get it. We can ask for it. They may fund additionally, they may not. When we actually go for bids, these numbers may come in lower or higher. I don't have the answer to that. I mean, these are estimates by the engineer at this point.
Judge, how could we fund this after the grant?
There's several ways. I mean, it could be rolled into a note with everybody else's project. I think that we could go in there and you stop me if I'm wrong, Matt. I think we could use our hot tax money, the money that we collect with inside the city of Del Rio. We have two funds, hot tax money outside the city limits, hot tax inside the city limits. We have approximately $450 or some odd $1,000 in that account right now. So we collect, a safe number would be 100,000, 115,000 that we could collect and still have some money left over per year that could actually make a payment on this loan, depending on the type of note that we would do, because of the dollar amount and what we're collecting. Tax note probably wouldn't work for the simple reason because of the amount of years. So you'd have to go do a certificate of obligation or another note that would extend I know I'm just talking, but it would, in other words, you try to match your payment amount to what you're collecting based on what you're gonna borrow. So to answer your question, you have hot tax money that you could go borrow against on the shortfall, and then try to get your years matched to whatever you're making on your payments. That's a long way around, but answer your question.
Is that your recommendation?
I think that would be the way to do it, and the reason I say that is, if y'all have other projects that y'all need to go do, we can sort of tap two different accounts in order to have two different loans. That way we're not rolling it all into one loan and we're leaving the hot tax money by itself and it just keeps building. So that would be my recommendation. It's up to the court, but I think we could structure the loan based on what the amount of money we got coming in, and then take your years out to be able to do that. That would be my recommendation.
Obviously, I'm not here to piss off any of the commissioners.
No, that's my job.
But I just want to make one comment. I think the court really needs to look at all different avenues to try to salvage a project. And the only reason I say that is that administratively, it does not look good to abort the project with the state agency. We already made a motion here today to reapply to Parks and Wildlife for Parks and Recreation funds. The state agency is not going to be too complacent when they see that they have awarded an entity $1.5 million and they turn back the funds. They're going to question, well, why are you reapplying for additional funds when you haven't administratively done a good job with those that we already awarded you? So that's my only comment. I think everyone needs to be a good steward with the resources that have been provided.
And just to get back to it, I think that if we were given permission by the court to move forward with this, any money that there is a shortfall, there is an opportunity to borrow funds and to make the payment out of hotel and motel tax, and would not affect anybody else's project, any other money that's already out there. That would be my answer.
My biggest problem for us to move forward with the whole project, including the indoor and outdoor facility, is the health issues involved.
Yeah. And Commissioner, the outdoor facility is completely out.
Well, okay.
Yeah, anything having to do with skeet and trap, the only thing, and Commissioner Nettleton made a comment a little while ago that he'd rather not downsize the building. I'd rather not either, for the simple reason that and you know just as well as if I do, when you go back and try to add to the building itself, it costs more money.
And that's fine. I mean, we can find a way to pay for, if it comes down to money, I mean, we all have money in our budget.
And I can tell you though that the money's not gonna, if we go through the process, the funds that we will be lacking, the court can do a certificate of obligation paid for from hot tax money. And I'm saying that because that way we have a source of revenue that can be tapped to do that, and it doesn't touch the rest of us when we go borrow more money for other projects.
Would it be in order, Judge, to make that in form of a motion?
I can make that in the form of a motion. Would that be okay? All right. You want to make that motion, sir?
I make that.
Okay. Commissioner Wardlaw made the motion. Do I have a second?
What was the motion?
The motion is to move forward with the project, leave it at the size it's at, and then look at borrowing funds for the.
Moving it to a different location.
Yes, sir. It will not be built at the SE Ranch. It will be built on your property.
And leave the building size the
11,000 square feet.
11,090.
Let's just go through this. The building will be moved to the precinct 3 yard, not at the SU Ranch. Move forward with the original size of the building, but not doing skeet or trap. And the funds that will be needed after the amount of grant money, we'll try to apply for some. That's, if we're still short, those funds will come back and look at a certificate of obligation or another note, depending on what our financial advisor and our bond counsel come up with, and those funds to be paid back from the hot tax money that we collect within the city limits. Is that okay, Commissioner?
That's perfect.
I'll make a second, Judge.
A motion, Commissioner Wardlaw, second, Commissioner Vasquez. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. And, I want to thank you. Thank you.
I want to thank you.
No.
For being calm.
Thank you. Item 40, discussion possible action on adding prayer to Valverde County Commissioners Court. Can we table this? Come back after executive. I have questions. You mind?
Motion to table.
I have a motion to table. Commissioner Nettleton, second, Commissioner Flores. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0 to table. Item 41, discussion possible action on reconstructing Senegas Road. Commissioner, I think this is one of those projects. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. Just put this item on the agenda, just to give an update to the court that we're moving forward with the process. It's going to be a slow process, but we'll get there. I've got an item on, there's an item under purchasing for, go out for RFQs to get an exact dollar cost on this project. So I just want to tell the court that we're moving forward with this project. Can we do that item under Melissa?
We can. Give me an item number.
57.
We're gonna leave item 41 and go to item 57, discussion possible action for approval, solicit request for qualifications from an engineering firm for services to prepare engineering plans and cost estimations to work on Senegas Road project.
I'll make the motion that we go out for RFQs.
Second. Motion, Commissioner Flores, second, Commissioner Nettleton. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 42, discussion possible action of Valverde County building a children's shelter. Commissioner Flores.
Judge, this has been one of my projects, special projects that I've tried to do something, financially find money to be able to build a children's shelter here in Valverde County. I even visited senators and Austin state reps, visited with different county judges in surrounding counties, and several county judges and commissioners were willing to give me a letter of support for this project. I just wanted to bring to the attention of the court, and then maybe we can move forward with this and find money to build it. I've got the property there in Precinct 4, right next to a park. So I hope we can move forward with this project.
I'll
make a motion to authorize Commissioner Flores to start looking for funding mechanisms to build a children's shelter. Second.
Second, Commissioner, motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second, Commissioner Flores. I guess within that process, Commissioner Flores, if you don't mind, if we could get an idea, and we're gonna have to have it in order to look for the funding sources, but I know that there's a group that is within that building, the community center, right?
Yes, they're out of Kerrville.
So if we could maybe get an idea from them as to what they're looking at is how many beds, how big of a facility. Okay. Or whether, and something to go look at might be like at the battered woman shelter, out there we have, six rooms with each room has its own restroom. And then we also have, one of the rooms is, ADA accessible.
Okay.
That would be something probably to look at also, you know, and it doesn't cost that really anything more except for a couple of doors and a shower, to make that ADA accessible. Over there, we only have 1 out of 6, that are, but over here, maybe, you know, maybe do half of them, you know, but if you come up with an idea, as to how many beds, and then if you need help, please don't hesitate.
I will bring more information.
Okay.
The following meeting.
A motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Flores, all those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 43 was already taken care of. Item 44. We've done pretty good in that. Item 44, discussion possible action on replat, establishing lots 5, 6, 7, 8, or block 4, Rio Diablo South subdivision out of lots 5, 6, 7, 8, block 4, Rio Diablo South subdivision. This one, and the next one, well, 44, 45, and 46. Oh, 47. All went before the Amistad zoning, and they were approved. They're just putting lots together in order to make a bigger lot. That way they can comply when they go to sell them. I guess it's
That's correct, yeah.
Okay.
Can we take all of those at the same time? 44, 45, 46, and 47? Or do we need to do them individually?
We need to do them individually?
Probably better to do it that way.
Okay. Item 44. To replat, establishing lots, 5, 6, 7, 8. Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve, Judge.
I have a motion, Commissioner Vasquez, second, Commissioner Flores. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 45, discussion possible action on replat, establishing lot 24, 25, 26, or block 5, Rio Diablo South subdivision, out of lots 24, 25, 26, block 5, Rio Diablo South subdivision.
Motion to approve, Judge.
I have a motion, Commissioner Vasquez, second, Commissioner Wardlaw. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 46, discussion possible action on replat, establishing lots 9, 10, R, block 3, Rio Diablo South subdivision, out of lots 9, 10, block 3, Rio Diablo South subdivision, Del Rio, Texas.
Motion to approve, Judge.
I have a motion, Commissioner Vasquez, second, Commissioner Wardlaw. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 47, discussion possible action, a revision of replat of lots 28, 29, 33, 34, 41, 41A, A5, A6, B, C, and D, Rancho Del Rio subdivision, and discussion over water availability. Water availability on the area. Can you throw that? He has it up. Commissioner Wardlaw, this one is actually in your subdivision, and if you don't mind, I'll make a couple comments real quick. This property right here on, Cocobolo, and then what's that other street?
Quail Trail.
Huh?
Quail Trail.
No. You don't go to Quail Trail.
For Rancho del Verdegal, this one?
This one's Cocobolo, and this one's what?
Verde Calle, Verdegal.
Okay, whatever. That one there, in my opinion, and it's just my opinion, court can do whatever they want to go do. There's water lines running up Cocobolo and then up to Quail Trail, and then comes back down. There's a water line here, a water line over there. All these other people that have lived out there for a year, 10 years, 30 years, 40 years, again, it's a court's decision, but they've been waiting on water, okay? We are waiting, you correct me if I'm wrong, we are waiting right now for the city to approve a pump to be able to turn everybody on Cocobolo on, and not Cocobolo, Quail Trail, and then Quail Trail and something else when you get done with the water lines. So, I personally don't believe that having them hook up to water today can create more of a problem with the water pressure, because we already have an issue with the water pressure. Before we get that solved is the right thing to do. Now, part of the plat, there's a piece in here somewhere that says, water services, I can't read it, provided by water well. I don't know if that takes care of it, if we're approving the plat, because you know at some point they're gonna come back and ask to be hooked up. But if they come and ask to be hooked up, if we approve it and they come to be, asked to be hooked up today, they can't. Well, they don't have enough water pressure. So it scares me a little bit, you know, as to what we can legally do, for the simple reason that when these lines were put in, they were put in to service the individuals that were there. And I would hate that we do this today and be responsible for water and not have enough water pressure to continue with the rest of the water lines that we need to go bury.
Judge,
So,
should we take this into executive session?
you want to take it?
Please.
But let me just say something about, areas that might have low water pressure. On 277, DeSoto Homes, they put a big old water tank up there to build up pressure. We can't do that over there with you, in that area?
There's already plans.
I mean, you know,
There's already plans to try to build up the water pressure for the lines that we have in place right now. That's happening.
With pump?
With the pump. Okay.
I'm gonna go out.
No, not tanks and water pressure.
The rest of everything going past, Quail Trail is part of what they're working on right now, part of that 750 and everything else. Okay, so in answer to your question, yes, it could be done.
I mean, would it help? I mean, I think it would help.
And where are we getting the money?
Somewhere.
Somewhere.
I'm just scared. I'm just scared and we'll.
Are they costly? Are they cost more or less or what?
Hundreds? I don't know. I will tell you though that the lines that are buried in the ground right now in that area, Escondido, Rise, whatever, those lines right there, the majority of them have been approved by the city. Some of the lines that we've already buried a little bit up Cocobolo and Quail Trail have not been approved by the city because we have water pressures. So if on the plat, it says that they are going to be able to provide water through water wells, and I personally don't have a problem with it. But it's real difficult because we're gonna have to go out and look for more money to make sure that these people are taken care of, but yet you have all these other people that have been there longer and we ain't able to take care of them yet.
Yeah,
You got a motion table?
I got a question. Second, I'll second that.
Do you wanna talk?
I had a question, but that's fine. I guess we can discuss it somewhere.
I have a motion to table, Commissioner, Wardlaw, second, Commissioner Flores, all those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Anybody against? Jesus Christ, we'll spend more time in executive. Okay, that item's tabled. Item 48, discussion possible action on first amendment to the agreement of the Defense Economic Adjustment Assistance between the Office of the Governor, Texas Military Preparedness Commission, and Valverde County Grant Number DEAAG number 2020-02-11 for the Laughlin Airfield Lighting Project, extending the contract up to August 3rd, 2023.
Move.
Second.
I have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Vasquez, all those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 49, discussion possible action providing a 5-month extension up to July 4, 2023 to Head Inc. for Laughlin Air Force Airfield Lighting Project, DEA grant number 2020. I have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Wardlaw, all those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 50, discussion possible action on approving change order number 1 for $97,125.13 to Head Inc. for the replacement of 2 constant current high voltage regulators for the Laughlin Airfield Base Lighting Project, grant number 2020. A motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Flores, and just for information, all these funds are not costing the county anything. We're working within our grant. Okay. I have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Flores. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 51, discussion possible action on update for Laughlin T1 Sunshade Project.
Good morning, Judge. Good morning, Commissioners. On this project, we're completely done with the phasing of the project. We have FAA and Laughlin approval on the plans. Our contract was for close to 1.6 million, and after we got all the approvals, from the base, and that happened in December 19, we got the construction estimate to build 2 rows, row P and row Q, including all electrical infrastructure and air compressor to build up the power units for the aircrafts. The problem that we have right now with this one is that we have 2 estimates to build row shade and Q, both of them for 3.2 million round numbers, which is $63.49 per square foot. We have another estimate to construct only one for close to 2 million, which is taking us to $77.86 per square foot. But we only have close to 1.6 million. We reach out to the base to ask for additional funding on their side. I don't have an answer yet for that. I'll also reach out to the state because on the other project that we have at Laughlin, we were close to $300,000 under budget. The answer for that was that we need to close out the first one to be able to, they can decide if they can transfer money to this other one. We have the 2 estimates, and right now I have the contractor on hold pretty much on our decision. I don't expect the base to fund the rest, honestly, and I just wanted to.
So how would we cut the couple $100,000?
There was a third option that we're gonna try to work, to build just 2 skeletons, but they're saying that, if we do that, they cannot legally park an aircraft below those, so that's a third option that we're.
Well, I mean, if they can't park an aircraft, then it doesn't do any good. So at the end of the day, we're a couple $100,000 short. How are we gonna, there's no way to downscale or to cut it back, not have as many linear feet or square feet?
For sure, we can downscale for 200,000, so if that would take us to close to 1.8, and that's just removing, the ground power units for the ground. So they need to bring portable units to.
And what are they doing now?
Right now, with what we have, that's considering everything.
No. What are they doing now? Do they bring the portable units now?
Yes, because they're stationed right here. The federal match on this grant and application was to build 3 structures, but that was a donation from other installations, so they only installed those.
Yeah, well, I guess my question right now is, Carlos.
Okay, they're bringing out the portable units.
Okay,
So they don't have a shed.
Okay, and at the end of the day, we only work with the money we have. It is what it is. So they're not gonna give us any more money. Can we downscale it enough to work within the 1.5 or whatever $1 million?
I don't think, we can accomplish something they can legally park there, so we're just, discussing this, having conversation with them.
What's it costing us to discuss? In other words, to go through this, I understand that, what's it costing me in dollars? Is it costing me anything in dollars to go through this process right now?
No, because we're just, entering conversation between the county and Laughlin, so the contractor's not.
And I'm asking these questions just so everybody understands that it's not costing us anything right now to be looking at options.
Mm-hmm.
We're not obligated to pay them anything unless we give them the job.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you need action from us? Or you're just bringing this as information?
I just wanted to explain what's going on with this thing. And that's one of my concerns to see.
So you'll go meet with him, Judge, and we'll come
visit with him, and we'll try to come up with plans. He's done an excellent job. I will tell you that he's looked at everything in the world, on either how to make the dollar spend. I think even though he's really expensive, I think he was worth his money.
It is good to mention that since the start of this project, we received partial funding from the state on this one. So we applied for 2.1 million and we only received 70% of it since the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
So that was one of the questions back then in 2021 that we're working with 1.5, and the option back then, and it was doable, was to build one skeleton and then fully.
Yeah, but it came back that they can't park underneath this one. That doesn't help them at all.
Mm-hmm.
So we will try and look at options and then maybe come back, and if it's not viable, then we'll have to do something else and quit. If we can get it done. all right?
Okay.
And we'll bring it back to the court.
Judge,
Yes, sir.
I forgot to ask Carlos, our county engineer, to show some pictures of, Senega's Road, what it looks like, so people can get an idea.
Do you want to go back to that item?
I mean, we could.
I mean, if you want.
We would
If
have
not,
to.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Because
Real quick, there's no action needed on item 51. And
We got
Yes.
time, Thursday.
item 41 or item, which one you want to do? Item 41, Senegas Road?
41's fine.
Okay. We're gonna go back to item 41. That way, he can show pictures.
It looks like a new road there, Carlos. You took your own picture. So look at that. Wow.
Wow. Okay, just for reference, that picture right there is taken like almost in front of the community center. The first picture is part of the road that I think that TxDOT had worked on at the very beginning. And they'd worked on this one too, a while back, but this picture here is almost in front of the community center. It's, you can tell because of the warehouse. So.
Where's that at?
That's the one also right in front of your yard.
Mm-hmm.
You can tell because of the turning lanes. And that one, Carlos messed up.
Upside down, upside down.
That's also
Yeah, right in
next
front.
to Foley
Yeah.
and Senegas Road.
I just wanted to show the people in the court that, the road does need
Attention.
attention ASAP.
Are we good? How many more you got?
Like 7 more.
Okay, we'll flip through them. What the hell? Is that grass? Is that paint?
Go in there in the middle of the road.
Okay.
Thank you, Carlos.
You're welcome, sir.
Good pictures.
All right, we did 51. We're gonna move on to 52. Item 52, discussion possible action to purchase 2,500 4x4 crew cab truck in the amount of $62,585 for the county agent. We had gone out for bid a couple times, couldn't get bids, so, Melissa went out and started looking for a truck. There was $75,000 set aside, and I believe this one is the gas one.
Yes.
And there was a recommendation from the court to look at a diesel, look at a gas, but to compare prices. Tommy was part of this process, and he's okay with the truck and everything else that will be added to the truck, the gooseneck hookup, some steps, and some other stuff. And the total price of all of it was $62,585.
Okay.
Second.
A motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second, Commissioner, somebody.
Second.
Wardlaw, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 53, discussion possible action to add an account for a water dispenser and water delivery for the county clerk's office.
Mm.
A motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second, Commissioner Flores, all those in favor? Aye. Motion carries 5-0. Item 54, discussion possible action to authorize county judge to sign an amendment to electricity service agreement, addition of services to precinct 1's Arteaga Park and Jesse Cardenas Park.
Motion.
Second.
A motion, Commissioner Wardlaw, second, Commissioner Flores, all those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 55, discussion possible action to award LMC Corporation as the contractor to renovate and install a fence and gate at the Jesse Cardenas Park entrance. Amount for the proposal, $63,795.03. LMC Corporation is an award vendor by Board, contract number 660-21.
Motion.
Second.
Commissioner Wardlaw made a motion, second by Commissioner Flores. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 56, discussion possible action to authorize county judge to sign a contract with Valverde County and LMC Corporation for the Cardenas Park entrance project if awarded and upon review and approval by county attorney.
Motion.
Second.
Motion, Commissioner Wardlaw, second, Commissioner Flores. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 57 has been taken care of. Item 58, discussion possible action to approve a contract between the City of Del Rey Civic Center to rent a space at the Center for Veterans Health and Welfare event taking place March 29, 2023. Y'all had already approved
Did they
this.
charge us for this?
Yes, sir.
Really?
We approved the $900 and some odd dollars to cover the contingency the last minute. I can
Motion to
ask.
approve. Yeah, I think we need to ask them. This
I'll
is
ask.
for our veterans, I mean, I think.
I'll ask, part of the motion, approve this, and if we can't get it.
I'll make a motion to approve this, and if we can't get it for free, to go ahead and pay the fee.
Motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Flores, all those in favor? Maybe I shouldn't be the one to ask. Can you say ask? Item 59, discussion, no action needed,
I'm sorry to interrupt. On 58, I'm asking the court if they will allow us to, because the City of Del Rey Civic Center is asking for $200 deposit for damages. So I'm asking permission, can we withdraw that from the office supplies and then it will be placed back in
can we,
case there's no damage?
it's not part of this at all. But we can take care of that. We'll take care of it.
Okay, thank
Done
you.
deal. Give me a call after the meeting. Item 59, discussion possible action, on item 59, no action is needed, at all. Sheriff has to remove it. Item 60, discussion possible action on approval of Human Resource Monthly Report.
Move.
Second. Motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Vasquez, all those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 61, closed session consultation pursuant to Texas Government Code A 551.071.2, attorney-client privilege, B 551.071.1, contemplated litigation, C 551.072, regarding the purchase, exchange, lease, or value of real property. Action in open session thereafter, D 551.073, regarding a negotiated contract, lease, or value of real property, and possible action in open session thereafter, E 551.076, regarding security devices, security audits, and/or security personnel. Y'all will give us the room. We're gonna take a 5-minute break, and then we'll come back and go into executive session.
We'll be there in 20 years. Just try to be patient.
I brought cheese.
Mm.
All right. Commissioners Court's back in session. We had tabled item 30, discussion possible action regarding finalizing project scope of work regarding security enhancement for the grant, memorial, whatever grant. One of the things that we talked about, and to pick a couple of projects that would be in line, and the projects that.
I make a motion to proceed with applying using the Fitzpatrick Building and the County Attorney's Office.
I have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton. Second, Commissioner Vasquez. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. Item 40, we can just,
I will rewrite the agenda item and bring it back at the next meeting.
court. Okay. No action needed on that one. Item 47, discussion possible action, revision of replat of lots 28, 29, 33, 34, 41. Carlos,
Yes.
this right here is going through the process. We are not approving the plat. All we would be doing is going through the process of posting.
I make a motion to authorize Carlos to do the posting requirements under the plating law.
I have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton, second Commissioner Vasquez. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries, 4-0. We'll go to Commissioners' comments. None. County Judges' comments, none.
I will make a motion to recess this meeting until 6 p.m. here at the county court at law building, the old county court at law building, and to take up items.
We'll take up any items.
Take up any items necessary.
I have a motion to reset this meeting at 6 o'clock today. Recess. Everybody's screaming.
Don't say reset.
Recess this meeting at 6 o'clock today, where we're at. I have a motion, Commissioner Nettleton. Second, Commissioner Vasquez. All those in favor? Aye. Anybody against? Motion carries 5-0. We will be here at 6 o'clock. Start this over again. Thank y'all. And again, thank you. Appreciate it. There we go. Call this meeting to order. We're reconvening the Commissioners Court from this morning. Determined there's a quorum present. We have Commissioner Vasquez, Commissioner Nettleton, Commissioner Flores, and myself. We have a quorum. One of the things that we'll ask, we set the hearing for 6:15, but we set the Commissioners Court meeting for 6. So there's going to be a little bit of time that y'all can speak between that, and then also if we miss people, y'all can also speak during the public comments of the hearing. We usually ask for citizens' comments for y'all to sign up. There's a sheet up here. It's just a real simple sign-in sheet. If y'all want to come up and speak, what we'll ask is just if you'll put your name and a phone number when you walk up here in order to speak. That way we'll have an idea of who spoke. All right? Pretty simple. We will have to have at 6:15 go into hearing mode, because that's when it was posted for. But y'all are welcome to come up and speak right now. There's no order as to who wants or who needs to come up and speak first. The only thing that I'll ask is please put your name and a phone number there. I think the majority of the individuals that are here tonight we'd already spoke with on Sunday. So at this time, I'm going to go to item 34, discussion possible action on a relief route for the existing international bridge. Anybody that wants to speak, if y'all will please just come up and don't speak from where you're sitting. If you'll come up to the podium and just take a little bit of time to put your name and a phone number in there, and then we are here to listen to you.
Okay. I'm Pat Martin. I think most of y'all know me. Basically 3 points I want to make. The point that most people here are going to be making is any kind of route through South Del Rio, the South Del Rio community. It's real quiet, it's peaceful. We'll interrupt that, destroy homes and property through that area. Secondly, when those trucks coming out of the International Bridge from Mexico into Del Rio, they're not headed back south to Eagle Pass. They're wanting to go either east or they want to go north or west. So they wouldn't be using that bypass. Same with the trucks coming out of 277 from the Eagle Pass direction. When they approach Del Rio, they're not going to go back into Mexico. They're going to be going north or west. The few might even turn east. But the traffic along 277 and from the bridge to 277 south, there's not that much demand for it. What there is demand for is to go north or west. And third is putting that bypass in before there's been talk about a second bridge going in, and putting this in before we know where a second bridge is going in doesn't make sense. If you knew where another bridge was going in and try to build a road to it instead of putting this bypass in from a bridge we might not be using for commercial use. Anyway, those are the 3 points. Okay. Thank you. And I'll tell you, if you have any questions for me, ask.
I don't. I personally don't. Do y'all have any questions for Mr. Martin? I think the discussions that we had on Sunday, anything, in my opinion, and we'll go ahead and listen to more individuals from the audience here in a minute. But in my opinion, at this point, today, where we sit today, anything that would go over or through or under or whatever qualia, I think we need to not consider it. Okay, and it's the same conversation we had on Sunday.
Right. Pretty much doing this for the record.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And we greatly appreciate whoever, you and whoever else is going to come up and speak. You know, like I said there, we sort of get hammered on because why are you talking about it? I mean, if we don't talk about it, get hammered on, why didn't you talk about it?
Yeah.
You know, in this court, just like every other elected body tries to be as transparent as possible. And this is just as a conversation that we need to have before we actually move sideways, up, down, or whatever.
Right.
So, I want to thank you for coming.
You bet.
And for the record, Commissioner Wardlaw just came in. So if there's anybody, Commissioner Martin, Mr. Martin, are you done?
Shooting?
You done?
Yes.
Okay. Anybody else that wants to come up and speak, please? And you know, it's pretty informative. Don't be nervous. Just come right up and say what you have to say.
Well, I'm Eva Vallejo, and I don't think that we should be hitting the residential areas. I think we need to direct something from 277 into Mexico and out of Mexico, if that's what we're going to use it for, rather than hitting the residential areas. I think that up on 277 by Eagle Pass Hill would probably be a more appropriate route than going through the residential areas and having to rebuild some of those roads for the heavy traffic. Plus, I think it would be cost effective if we just connected it straight to 277. And it wouldn't take as much, and we wouldn't be upsetting people. That's all I have to say.
Okay, Ms. Vallejo, thank you so much.
Thank you.
As soon as she leaves the podium, is there anybody else that would like to speak? If y'all just come on up, I mean, you know.
My name is Joey Boner, and I own property on Galler Lane. About 40 years ago, many of us that you are looking at here went in and acquired a lot of this land. We went in and we put in a lot of blood, sweat, and tears trying to clean it up, put in fields, looking forward to the years to come so we can enjoy this, possibly build homes on it. When I got wind of this, maybe back in November, I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I said, no, this could not come to pass, you know. And come to find out, it's come to pass. So one of the options that I looked at that was presented to me was the fact that one of them was to come by the new bypass that was built, take a left, go through Altizer's property, then take a left and go back to Galler and then go down Galler. Well, I started looking at this, and the only access that I could see on that second turn was to go through my property. We've been working like crazy on this, trying to get it worked up and everything, and are still working. And it kind of scared me. I said, no, surely they won't think about, you know, messing up a nice, quiet neighborhood. And I got to thinking about Galler Lane. Can you imagine opening that thing up for trucks and cars to even possibly go over? And it just, you know, it's just a little lane now, but doubling the size of that, possibly taking out fences, pipe fences, part of our irrigation system, which is, you know, still in operation today. And what would they do with all of that? What would be the expense of all of that? So I've got to thinking, well, the only thing we can do is, and we thank you for this hearing so you can listen to what we say, is just come up here and express our opinions. And the thing that gets me is there's a lot of families, little kids, and everybody that are being raised down there, and they walk up and down for recreation and just to get out of the house. I'd hate to see that ending. So I'm definitely against this bypass and everything, but that's about all I'm going to say about it. But that's my feelings on it then. Thank you.
No, thank you, sir. Is there anybody else? And folks, again, don't be shy. I mean, this is your opportunity to let us know what you think.
Hi, good evening. I agree with everything that Dr. Martin and Joey just said. A lot of us have spent a lot of time and blood, sweat, and tears down there building our houses that we thought would be our forever homes and working in fields that have been overgrown by mesquite that now we have back in working order with the hope that we'd be able to raise our kids and pass that down to them. So in short, I'm definitely against the bypass that will be crossing Qualia, possibly coming through my property or theirs. Most of us know that the majority of the trucks that are crossing the POE will be traveling west of Del Rio to Highway 90 or to 277 north, or possibly to the industrial park or the quarantine pens via Farley Lane. It makes no sense logistically or financially to invest in a route that will not be going in the direction that the majority of the trucks need to go. To add to that, most trucking companies want to find the most direct route for their trucks to travel, especially with the expense of diesel at the moment. Nobody's going to want to send their trucks on a detour 10 to 20 miles south, only for them to turn back and cut north or west. In my opinion, investing in this route would just provide another low traffic area for people to dump their dogs, tires, and trash. You all knew that I had to throw that in there for you.
It's all good.
We have been told countless times by city and county officials that the need for a second international bridge is coming and that we need to invest in infrastructure for the future for when that time comes. With that being said, I implore you to consider drafting routes that are inclusive of the industrial park and the quarantine pens, as well as having the possibility to link up to a second international bridge in the future west of Del Rio, as opposed to the current proposition, which is completely out of the way for most, if not all, of commercial truck traffic crossing our current port of entry. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. I don't know, this morning, just to give y'all a little, what we did this morning, there was a motion that was made that gave the county judge permission to reach out to the city of Del Rio and for them to ask us, which, like I said earlier, seems a little bit childish for them to ask us for help. But I believe that we needed, if they will put something in writing, if they're thinking about another route, if they would put something in writing and ask for our help in writing, that way we don't have the finger pointing. I'm not throwing rocks at them at all. But there are things that we're going to have to consider. The second bridge is part of it. And, you know, your comments about doing that first before we take off on this, I mean, all that's the reason behind the hearing is to get input from y'all, you know. But we will be reaching out to the city to figure out if they need help, if they'll ask us what they need help with. And I will tell y'all that this court, just like every other elected body, is going to do our best to make sure that y'all understand or hear about what we're talking about before we make any decisions. But this is part of the process. You know, it's just, you know, again, we were sort of, you know, we just heard about it. Well, we just now really started being serious about it. So we need to put it out for y'all to come in and give y'all's opinion. So we will try to be as transparent as possible with all this. But is there anybody else that would like to come speak? Again, folks, you know, don't be shy. Just come on up, say what you got to say. We're not going to throw anything. Well, maybe a threat.
Hey there, my name's Fred Carranza, and I've lived down there in that area all my whole life, right? Still live down there. I just think that thing doesn't belong anywhere near down there. The infrastructure's not there, that road's not there. We built that new quality relief route. It isn't made for that kind of traffic. A lot of y'all have interest down there.
Fred, if you'll give me just 2 seconds, because I'm at 6:15, okay. And you know, part of this, I need to open up the hearing, and then we can go ahead and move forward. It's 6:15. We had called, we set a public notice for a hearing at 6:15 on the relief route. So the hearing is now open. Mr. Carranza, please, if you'll continue.
All right,
I'm
yes,
sorry.
sir, thank you. And as I was saying, a lot of y'all have interest down there, own property down there, and you're gonna need more land than what you got there. So I just, I don't think it's a good deal. Y'all, already pissed off everybody over on the north side the other day. Now you're gonna piss everybody off down on the south side. It's just not a good deal, okay? And I think it's important that, we get this second bridge done. I really do. I think that's most important for Del Rio right now. There's a lot of things coming down the line. Portage to Plains is coming down the line. We're gonna need that bridge. It falls right into Mexico's industrial park. And, I just think this is gonna muddy the waters. We need to unite as a city and as the county, and let's figure out where that bridge is gonna go first. If you guys really feel like you need to do this, maybe, they don't want it up north. We don't want it down south. Maybe we go further south and connect it to the new loop. It'd be a shorter route, it'd be longer for Mexico, but, the city's put in a lot of work on the Second International Bridge. We spent a lot of money. The city's committed another $5 million for that presidential permit. And, once you get that presidential permit, then things get serious with the state and the federal government. And I think that's what's most important. And I think we need to put all of our efforts into deciding where that's gonna go, make a final decision, and then this other thing can happen. I feel like it needs to happen, but I don't know who's gonna pay for that road. What was it, to get the proposed route right now is 6 or 7 miles?
Well, I have no idea.
I don't know. I saw that on a map, I think. It's longer than that, maybe, yeah. But it's, I don't know what kind of help we'd get from the state and federal government for that route, but I think we can get it for the Second International Bridge. So, I think we can come together as a community. That's the best thing that can happen, but, all of us that are here, mostly are all from the south side. And, that's just not a good idea. I know that's what we're here really to talk about. Imagine some of those 18-wheelers keep going towards the left, towards the winery. We get an 18-wheeler down there right now, they're stuck. They're stuck, it's hard to get out of there, especially, the roads are just too narrow. All of Qualia would need to be redone also, because it's not made for that truck traffic like that. And, I think it's just a real bad idea. So I hope you guys can regroup, let's take the politics out of this, and let's just do what's good for Del Rio. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. And I said I wasn't gonna throw rocks, but I'm gonna throw it. It wasn't our idea, so let's clear this up. We were asked by the city to look at a route. This wasn't our, Mr. Throwing the F word. It wasn't our idea, okay? We were asked by the city, and those of y'all that were in the meeting understand how passionate I was about the conversation that we had on Sunday. We were asked to come up with the route, all right? I was asked 3 weeks ago by the mayor and John Sheedy to look at the route and how we were going to move forward with the route. This isn't something that we yanked out of our ass, all right?
Right.
Again, I didn't say but we start, and I was not, it isn't something that we decided to go do just because we decided to go do. We were asked to look at a route.
For the route, for this route, or for an alternate location?
For this route, the route that we're talking about today.
Yeah.
I will tell you that the Second International Bridge, because you brought that up too, I think we need to work towards it. This court took a 5-0 vote not to support the bridge or the route that they were taking, because we couldn't slow it down. All right, we couldn't slow that process down. December 6th, we had a joint meeting. December 7th, we were told on December 6th that we would not, and I'm going to try real hard not to just lose my shit again, but I was told December 6th that there was another route that they would be looking at. December 7th, the city's consultants were in Laredo presenting the route that we were told they were not going to move forward with. Okay, and we have timelines with that. So, to say that for us to reconsider what we're doing, we wouldn't be having this conversation, Mr. Carranza, if the city had not asked us to look at it. And like I told John and I told the mayor 3 weeks ago, I don't have the right to say yes or no to this route. I'm just a member of the court, and I will put it on the agenda. And that's how this got started.
Right.
All right. So I don't want to go down a road that all we do is point fingers at each other. And that's how come I said, and when we talked about it earlier at Commissioner's Court, anything that we do as a city, county together, it must be in writing from now on. We're not gonna have these meetings unless they're recorded. Because there's too many things, well, I didn't say that. Oh, you didn't. So the way you do it is, we have bought a little recorder for me that every time I go to a meeting, I turn my little recorder on. All right? And I don't want to throw rocks at the city because at the end of the day, I think that we have had an excellent working relationship the last 4 years. We really have. And we've been through more crap than anybody deserves. And we have worked together, we've moved forward, and I do believe that we need to continue that. The discussion on the second international bridge, that needs to be opened back up and that needs to continue. You know, there was routes that certain people in this room that they had discussed. But at the end of the day, you know, and I'm gonna quit talking. I don't want to get into it and I really don't want to get mad. But at the end of the day, we were asked, Mr. Carranza, if we would look into it. That's what we're doing. The reason we're here is because we were asked to look at a route. The route that was actually put out in the paper. We visited with, did not go down your street to visit with anybody down your street. I did visit with people in Lupita subdivision, completely against it. We had a meeting on, Sunday. Everybody in there, which the majority of those people are in this room today, completely against it. I made a statement a little while ago, Mr. Carranza, that today, and as of, you know, anything having to do with Qualia, again, I don't care if you go under it, over it, through it, whatever. I don't think that we should consider anything having to do with Qualia. All right. I will tell you though that if the city comes to us and says, I want to have a conversation, and it's in the form of an email and a letter, we will have a conversation with them on anything else they want to talk about. Okay. I do believe though that you know, there's no way for any of us to move forward as a community, whether you live in the city or county, unless we talk. That's right. And that's why we're here, Mr. Carranza.
Yeah. Okay. And just to make it clear, I know I no longer serve on the city council. I did it, and I'm off of it now. I'm just here as a citizen, nothing else, who lives in the south side. And I wasn't privy to, and I didn't know about this Sunday meeting, or I heard about it, whatever went on then, so I'm not sure what actually went on.
And I will tell you, Mr. Carranza, that we will do our best to make sure that everybody knows what we're talking about, or that we're moving forward or behind or whatever with anything that we have. You know, again, like I said at the beginning, we're sort of damned if we do, and that's like what you used earlier. Damned if you do, damned if you don't, because you either, why did you talk about it but nobody knew about it? Well, at the point that we started talking about it is when y'all knew about it, right? And then, but why are you even talking about it? Well, Jesus Christ, you've been in politics. You've got to consider everything, and then make a decision. You just can't leave it out there, you know, festering. You need to make a decision and move on. And I think that here in a minute, after we hear a couple more people, and I'm sorry, man, I'm taking it. But after we hear a couple more individuals speak, we will go through the process of asking who's in favor of it, who's not. And then we're going to make a motion to go down a road.
Right.
Okay. Not quite.
And Judge and Commissioners, one of the things that worries me a little bit about this, and I'll just say it, a lot of these votes have been going 2-3, okay? You, each one of you as individually don't have any power, right? And that's my concern, that you all take a vote tonight and you vote on something that none of us want to hear. And that's the reason you're here, because you want to hear what we feel, right?
Yeah.
But that's just a fact. You know, the way this court's going right now, it's a 3-2 vote. It's a 3-2 vote. And that's what my worry is. That's my worry is mainly, so.
No, and my thing is though that I hope you feel enough comfortable, which seems like you do, to come tell us whatever you want to tell us, because that's why we're here.
Yeah, sure.
Right? And at the end of the day, I will tell y'all that we've had people, and we had this discussion earlier, that this court, you know, we do take 3-2 votes. It isn't like it was before, but I will tell you that just as a city and just as a county, the reason that we end up with more discussions and more heated discussions is because we're doing more. Yeah. I will tell you that as a commissioner, what these commissioners are doing today, They're doing a heck of a lot more than what I did as a commissioner, even though we were busy, ¿verdad? And the discussions that we're having and even some of the heated discussions we're having, I'm sort of open to it for the simple reason that at the end of the day, we're trying to come up with the right solution, right? But we are doing more now, just like the city, the school, and everything else. We are doing more now than what we did 8 years ago.
Yeah.
¿Verdad? The projects that we have ongoing, so at that, to speak to that, we will have more discussions, and there will be more discussions that there's going to be people that we don't agree or don't all the time.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, when the court takes a vote, then you move forward because the court's taking a vote.
Yeah, that's right. And I appreciate what everybody does here. I know none of this is an easy job.
No,
you
you
know,
don't.
but appreciate you all giving us a chance to speak our minds. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Carranza.
Judge, I'd like to say something, if possible.
You're up.
Okay. Just to clear the water, I did vote against the route and the side of the second bridge. I'm not against the second bridge. We do need the second bridge. There's economic growth to consider at this border. So at the end of the day, if this route is not going to work over here on the west, on the south side, we need to consider something on the south side. Horse to Plains is coming this way, and we need to consider that too. So I'd like to say that we need to leave the doors open for economic growth.
We good? I'm sorry, ma'am. Go ahead.
My name's Frankie Lewis. I live on Guider Lane. I live 2/10 of a mile down on Guider Lane, and I have 8 beautiful acres. There's a major sewage plant a half a mile down on Guider Lane. All this would be affected. It's not possible. It's a beautiful area. It doesn't need to be destroyed. That's all I have to say.
Thank you, ma'am. Okay. I was going to say something else, but ma'am, you come on up. You're wine.
Good evening. I'm Anna Markowski Smith, and I was fortunate enough to be at that Sunday meeting. And like the judge said, rocks were thrown, but fortunately, nobody was hit. But one of the things that came up at that meeting, because the mayor was present at the meeting as well, was that, number one, this route wasn't officially approved by either the city or the county. This is something that was informal. And I think that was the unfortunate part, is that people think that is the specific route that either the city or the county picked. Secondly, there was that conversation that the city is looking for an alternate route because they're adding 2 lanes of commercial truck traffic to the International Bridge, which will help traffic on the bridge, but they wanted to basically preserve the city streets. And so taking a different route, but this route would take you in the direction of Eagle Pass, and really our truck traffic doesn't go in that direction, so that didn't make sense either. In terms of the second International Bridge, Judge Owens let everybody know that he was opposed to the bridge at that time, but it was the timing of it, and that in the future he fully supports the second International Bridge, so that there's no confusion about that. And he also said that the court was trying to work. Who did that to me? The court was trying to work hard with the city, and that there was a lack of communication, which is unfortunate. But it sounded like the city was committed, and the county was committed in working together, putting things in writing, formalizing the process, because this is what happened. It wasn't formalized, and the county did do this as a favor to the city, because the city, this is in the county limits, so the city has no power of eminent domain in that area, and really has no choice as to where the road's going to go if it is outside the city limits. So I want to thank the judge and Commissioner Wardlaw for being there, because it was very informative, and people were able to bring out their concerns. And the most important thing that was established is that the route that was published is not, it's really not even in the works right now.
Thank you. Let's do this. I know everybody needs to get home, but is there anybody here for the route? God bless you if you raise your hand. Is there anybody in here for any route that would cross Qualia? Whether again, you go up, under, through it, underneath it, whatever. Is there anybody here for it? No. Okay, I don't see any hands that went up. I'll give my speech, and then if y'all want to speak in your thought, I will tell you that again, I'm not for anything that goes over Qualia, under Qualia, through Qualia, whatever. At this point, I just don't see that happening. And for the record, we own property down there. Well, Sylvia owns 9 acres on one side, and I own 23 acres on the other side of Qualia. There's been comments that we were going to make a lot of money. We've opposed this whole thing. You know, it's just it doesn't make sense. I visited with Pat Martin on Sunday as we were leaving. If we were going to sell the property, and I'm saying this just because of transparency, y'all need to understand. We bought the property. 2 weeks later, we could have made 4 times what we paid for the property. That was 2 years before this was ever even talked about. So if there was an intention of selling the property, we'd have sold it 2 weeks after we bought it. And like Pat Martin said on Sunday, he knows which individual we were talking about because they got a hold of him wanting to know if the sale was final because they wanted to buy the property to build a warehouse. There would have been a 60. Pat Ellis. I'm sorry. And I was looking at Pat Martin, but, you know, I'm sorry. Mr. Ellis. So the conversation, you know, it's just completely asinine that we would try to profit from something like this. It doesn't make sense. Gilbert Rodriguez, friend of ours, lives in the house, so you'd have 200-300 trucks going beside his house. It doesn't make sense. You have Herda and Mr. and Mrs. Herda back there that, you know, she gives me a lot of grief, but it wouldn't make sense either to ruin her life. So at the end of the day, it just really and truly doesn't make sense. And I'm not going to do the whole conversation about city. I'm not going to do it. I think that we need to do a better job. I need to do a better job working with the city to move us forward. I don't think that this is the project to vote on and say, okay, we're going to pick this project to move our community forward with. That's my opinion. Commissioner Wardlaw, do you have any comments?
Well, I'd like to make a motion, Judge.
Okay. Let's go real quick. If any of the other commissioners have comments before you make the motion,
All right.
Commissioner Wardlaw, if you don't mind. Commissioner Vasquez?
No comments, Judge.
Commissioner Nettleton?
Well, not really. I mean, this started out as a project the city wanted to do. They came and asked. We met with them. I did. The judge did. I know y'all were told at the meeting on Sunday that if this was my route, that was not the case. But, I mean, that's fine. I have concerns about a second bridge, period, at this time. I think the expansion of the existing bridge is not a bad project. Whether we need a route back to the loop or not, that's a whole nother conversation. But I think the city expanding the existing bridge for truck traffic would help. But that's the extent of what I think needs to happen at this time. That's all I think.
Commissioner Flores?
The 2 lanes that the city will be adding to the bridge will increase the commercial traffic. There'll be 400 to 600 trucks coming across every day, and they need a route to go from point A to point B, and this would be to the industrial park, not South Del Rio, okay, but West Del Rio. We need to consider economic growth, Oyster Plains, and that traffic, that commercial trucks generate millions of dollars a year to the Texas, to Del Rio as revenues. We need to consider all that. I mean, we're all part of this same community. I am not for the route South Del Rio, not at all. I stated it since the beginning. I went to Del Rio Welders after the meeting, and I told the Rodriguez boys, Gilbert and Charlie, But we do need a route. From the port of entry to 277 or Highway 90 or even the loop. That's all.
At this point, before you go and make the motion, Commissioner Wardlaw, I'm gonna go ahead and close the hearing portion. It is, 6:36. We started at 6:15. The part about the hearing, we have closed. Thank you, Commissioner Martinez, for reminding me. Commissioner Wardlaw, would you like to make a motion?
Yes, I'd like to make a motion that we abandon the thought of, this route crossing Quadra.
Have a motion, Commissioner Wardlaw, second by Commissioner Nettleton. Commissioner Wardlaw, how do you vote? Yes or no?
Yes.
Commissioner Vasquez, how do you vote? The motion is to abandon it, yes or no?
Yes, to abandon.
Commissioner Nettleton?
Yes.
Commissioner Flores?
Yes.
Okay. Judge votes, with the motion also. It's a 5-0 vote. Done deal.
Yay.
All right. Yay. That's too cool. Folks, again, this is just part of the process. I know that we got hammered a lot out there, but unless we put it out, I mean, y'all never have an opportunity to come speak. I think Anna made a good comment. This was never written in stone. It never was approved. It was just something that was thrown out there. All right. But, I texted everybody that was at the meeting, today. And that's my cell phone number. I gave it to y'all on Sunday. If there's anything that y'all have questions with after this, please feel free to contact me. Again, my phone number is 830-734-0575. That is my cell phone number. If I don't answer you right away, send me a text and I'll get back with you. All right? But we will continue to have discussions, not on this site or anything having to do with Qualia. But I do think that the conversations that we had on Sunday with the mayor being there, I think that was progress. I think we can build on that and move forward and make sure that we're working with the city to try to get things done. Any other comments by the commissioners? None? Thank y'all for showing up. We're gonna adjourn. Meeting adjourned. Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you.